Now it is my pleasure to introduce to you today's keynote speaker. When I met her, I was stunned that she has accomplished so much at such a young age. And I say that as a compliment. She is the president and founder of Strong Women, Strong Girls, Lindsay Hyde. It is an organization that was founded in 2000 as a student group by Lindsay when she was a freshman at Harvard University. Since that time, parents, teachers, and principals have driven the organization's rapid growth in its hometown of Boston, and the organization has expanded with a presence here in Pittsburgh and in Miami, the newest Strong Women, Strong Girls community. Upon her graduation in 2004, Lindsay launched Strong Women, Strong Girls as an independent, not-for-profit organization. She continues to serve as the organization's president, supported by a passionate and mission-driven staff and an inspired board of directors that includes educators, physicians, not-for-profit and financial leaders, and of course, youth workers. From the beginning, Strong Women, Strong Girls has delivered results, confidence, and awareness of potential, top of the list. Girls who participate in the program are unafraid to speak up, and they act as examples of motivation and success in their schools and in their communities. As an innovative and entrepreneurial not-for-profit organization, Strong Women, Strong Girls is empowering girls and young women to be the leaders of today and, more importantly, of tomorrow, a goal which is certainly in harmony, of course, with the Athena Award program. So therefore, makes sense. It's an honor to introduce to you today the Athena Award Luncheon keynote speaker, Lindsay Hyde.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to be a part of this phenomenal event today. I am so grateful to our advisory council member, Beth Marcello from PNC Bank, who first shared with me the Athena Awards and who invited me to serve as the speaker today. I also want to congratulate today's Athena Young Professional Award winner and all of the finalists. It has been such a pleasure and an inspiration to read your stories, to hear about your work, and to get to know you over the last few weeks. One of the things that I found so resonant about the Athena Awards was this focus on women mentoring women. At Strong Women, Strong Girls, the entirety of our work is built on the premise that there is nothing more powerful in any of our lives than a mentor. Someone who can champion us, who can inspire us, and who can encourage us. And the thing that I think is so exciting about mentoring is that all of us can do it. You don't need a degree, you don't need a certification, you don't need a lot of time or money. Anyone can be a mentor. And what I want to do today is talk a little bit about the different ways that all of us can do that. As I was getting ready to come to Pittsburgh this week, I was thinking about the fact that, it wasn't just me coming here, but that wherever I go, I carry with me the inspiration of the hundreds of women in my life who have served as mentors to me. And when I think about their work and think about all of the gifts that they have given me, it was that experience of being mentored by strong women that encouraged me to start Strong Women, Strong Girls. My very first mentor, which might be the same for many of you, was my mom. My first memory of seeing my mom as a mentor is when I was just 6 years old. It's the start of school, and we've been out school shopping. As a single mom, money's always tight for my mom, and so we do most of our school shopping at Kmart, where I can get all of the things that I need to be ready for the year. Getting ready to start kindergarten, I am so excited because I have got the coolest new outfit. Overalls. And when I walk in on the first day of school, I am sure that they're going to be a hit, but the kids at school don't think they're cool at all. And in fact, they make fun of me because They're not designer brand Oshkosh overalls like everybody else has on. And so my 6-year-old self ends up that day at home in tears. Seeing my distress, my mom springs into action and she says, "Linz, this is a solvable problem." And she takes those pair of overalls, and on the front she sews a giant rainbow patch. And she grabs another pair, and on there she sews a big sunshine. So I walk back to school the next day in my overalls, hesitant but hopeful. And you know what? It works. Pretty soon, all of the other girls are asking their moms to cover up those stupid words and instead put pictures on the front of their overalls. At the time, I was fairly certain that this confirmed my status as a kindergarten fashion icon. But now I think it might have had more to do with the fact that none of us could read. But regardless, the message for me from this earliest memory of my mom as a mentor was pretty clear. When you see a problem, look for a solution. And when you find a solution, share it. In this moment, my mom exemplified the first stage of mentoring, being a role model. Living your life in a way that helps young people to understand and make sense of the world around them. And that gives them the tools to go forth and make sense of it themselves. It was this very simple formula. When you see a problem, look for a solution. That led me to start Strong Women, Strong Girls. At the time, there were thousands of girls on the waiting list for mentors. There were at least a handful of us college students who were excited to lend a hand. But there were no programs that meaningfully matched college undergraduate women to serve as mentors to girls. And so, taking that important lesson, I looked for a solution. And I found that solution in the form of an enthusiastic but incredibly overwhelmed young principal named Janet Palmer Owens. She had just started at the Mason Elementary School, and she was excited about this idea of college students coming into the school and mentoring girls. And so that first year, 6 of us arrived at the Mason School every Thursday and mentored a group of 30 girls. We called ourselves Strong Women, Strong Girls. For those of you who may not be familiar with the work of Strong Women, Strong Girls, now we are a nationally recognized mentoring program that fosters high aspirations among low-income girls and helps them to develop the skills they need for lifelong success. The program works on 2 levels. First, we engage college undergraduate women. We have many of them in the room today from Carnegie Mellon, Point Park, Carlow, and Duquesne to serve as mentors to low-income girls in grades 3 to 5. At this level of the program, our work is guided by 3 principles: skill building, relationships, and role models. Each week in Strong Women, Strong Girls, the girls and their mentors learn about a particular life skill. Things like critical thinking, conflict resolution, and cultural sensitivity. The girls then read a biography of a female role model who exemplifies that goal. Needless to say, I've been taking some notes about our finalists, and I'm looking forward to featuring them in our curriculum next year. The girls then conclude each week with journal writing and reflection, and in the spring, they take on a service project for them to positively impact their communities. The second layer of the program involves our leadership coaches, who are dynamic, professional women in the community who serve as mentors to our college students. Over the course of the year, they guide the students on everything from how to run an effective meeting to how to give feedback to a peer. I want to tell you a story about that I think really exemplifies how these different pieces come together to make a powerful impact in the communities in which we work. It is a sweltering summer in Strong Women, Strong Girls summer program in Miami. The air is so thick you could possibly swim in it. And I'm sitting outside with a group of 10 of our students from Miami-Dade Community College leading a reflection session to get them ready to lead their service projects this summer. To kick us off, I say to them, what can you do this summer to make an impact for girls? At first, the group is silent. And then one mentor tentatively raises her hand, and she says, it would just be so much easier if we could get rid of the bullies. Every time we go into the school, the girls talk about how hard it is to deal with being bullied. Another mentor pipes up, the whole reason I wanted to do this program is because I was bullied as a kid, and I didn't want anybody else to have to go through that. A third college student says, I was a bully. It's not easy being on that side either. And then one of them says the words that I think make this just magic. She says, imagine how much easier this would have been if we knew all this before now. Like if we knew this when we were kids. We need to tell our girls about this. And this is the second stage of mentoring. Moving from being a role model to actively sharing your wisdom and your experiences with others. By providing guidance, by providing encouragement, by providing cautionary tales, being generous with your experiences. When this group of 10 mentors got back to the bigger group, it turned out that all 100 college students in the room had also had an experience with bullying. And when they got back to their groups of girls in Strong Women, Strong Girls, it turned out all 300 girls had had an experience with bullying. And they decided they needed to do something about it. And so the girls and their mentors decided they would create a quilt to tell their stories of their experiences with bullying and how it was that they had dealt with them. Well, word spread. Across the school campuses, in the summer programs, on the college campuses, in the workplaces of our leadership coaches, and by the end of the summer, our 8-year-old girls had produced a 20-foot by 20-foot quilt that shared stories from people across Miami-Dade County about their experiences with bullying, about how they were changing the conversation, and about how they were bringing more compassion and caring into their relationships. At the end of the summer, the phone in our office rang. Hello? Yes, hello. This is the Wolfsonian Museum on Miami Beach. We've heard about the quilt project. We'd like to talk to you about displaying it. Thousands of people a year visit the Wolfsonian Museum. Our girls are currently negotiating the terms of their display. But the key thing here is that mentoring causes a ripple effect. In this case, it was the desire of 10 college students to share with girls their own experiences of dealing with bullying that grew into a community-wide project that is now poised to impact thousands of people from across the world. The story of Strong Women, Strong Girls coming to Pittsburgh actually begins with a similar act of someone, and in this case, a woman in particular, being willing to share her experiences. For me, this has now become one of my most significant mentoring relationships and has truly changed the course of Strong Women, Strong Girls. Now, I want you to imagine I'm a senior in college, and while my roommates and my classmates are busy studying for graduate school exams and polishing up their resumes for job interviews, I'm trying to figure out how exactly you go about starting a nonprofit organization. Because while it's pretty clear how you apply to grad school or how you go through the recruiting process, I can't quite figure out how to get to where I want to be, world-changing, sector-revolutionizing, mentoring force of nature, from where I am, which is my dorm room. Fortunately, earlier that year, I had been selected as one of Glamour magazine's top 10 college women, which is a program that recognizes undergraduates who've made a significant contribution to their community. Allison Brower was then an editor at Glamour, and she called me one day about another story she was working on for the magazine. "Lindsay," she says, "you have got to meet this woman. She's a professor at Carnegie Mellon, and she's written this book, wait for it, Women Don't Ask. You guys have to know each other. You're both working on the same thing, helping women." And before I could tell Allison that my not really even real nonprofit and the New York Times best-selling book weren't exactly on the same plane, there was an email in my inbox that began, "Dr. Babcock, I'd like to introduce you to Lindsay Hyde. You will both be in the same issue of Glamour." What Allison did here was take the step to the third level of mentoring, moving from sharing wisdom to making a connection. She took the time to recognize two people who were passionate about the same things, to introduce them to one another, and to create commonality. For Allison, it was a 5-minute email. For me, it was a turning point. Fortunately for me, Linda Babcock, who I know has served as a speaker for the Athena Awards, embodies the fourth and most impactful stage of mentoring, being a sponsor. As a busy faculty member, researcher, author, and nonprofit founder herself, Linda could have easily ignored the email introducing her to a 20-something college student that she had never met. Instead, she replied within minutes with, "Great, let's schedule a phone call." And over the course of the next year, Linda worked with me to think about how to develop Strong Women, Strong Girls into a not-for-profit organization. She challenged me to ask for what I wanted and what I needed and celebrated with me when it came to fruition. She joined our board of directors, and at the end of that first year, she said to me, "What do you think about bringing the program to Pittsburgh?" I was stunned. I had dreamed about the opportunity for Strong Women, Strong Girls to impact girls all over the country, but I thought that it would take years for us to get there. Linda said, "Let me make a few phone calls." And this is what differentiates a sponsor. And ladies, I gotta tell you, we need more sponsors. A study came out this year that said the key to accelerating women's careers is effective sponsorship. A sponsor is someone who is willing to leverage their own success to highlight the potential for success for someone coming up behind them. By raising their name at key moments in time, by highlighting their work and vouching for their effectiveness, a sponsor can help women achieve their goals. And that was exactly what Linda did for me and for Strong Women, Strong Girls. She reached out to members of the community and asked if they'd be willing to meet with me. She helped me take a look at the work that was already going on here and think about new and exciting partnerships. Because she was excited, other people got excited, and they were willing to become champions. By being willing to take the first step, Linda ignited the torch. And hundreds of other women, many of them are in this room today, have been willing to carry it forward. Now, Strong Women, Strong Girls in Pittsburgh is serving over 400 girls a year. We're inspiring 140 college students, and we're learning from the wisdom of 40 professional women in our Leadership Coaches program. Directly because of the success of Strong Women, Strong Girls in Pittsburgh, we were invited to come to Miami, Florida. Dade County Public Schools is the 4th largest school district in the country. There are 20,000 girls eligible for our program. As a direct result of Linda's willingness to be a sponsor and the willingness of so many other women here, we are literally impacting thousands of girls every day. I'd say that's some pretty significant impact. I know that Linda's here today. Could you stand and be recognized? Now I know what you're thinking, that I sold you a big, whopping lie. Because at the beginning of this, right, I said anybody could be a mentor. And now I've told you about this New York Times best-selling author impacting thousands and thousands and thousands of kids. So I want to bring it back to a story that I think really exemplifies how all of us can mentor. It is a crisp fall day, and I am chaperoning a field trip for 100 of our girls to the Harvard University campus. Over the course of the day, they've met with professors, they've visited classes, they even got to eat in the cafeteria. And at the end of the day, one of the 3rd graders runs up to me and she says, "Lindsay, I know I can go to college." And I am thinking that I am pretty smart, that we have really done our job here. So I said, "Well, tell me, why?" And she says, "I've been looking around this campus, and all of the kids have backpacks. I already have a backpack. I can go to college." And while I realize that it's a long way between 8 years old and college, the important thing is that this little girl now has a dream. And I guarantee that those students on campus that day who were walking around with their backpacks, that they did not know that they were being mentors. I guarantee they did not know that they were inspiring a little girl to dream about her future. And I guarantee in the same way that you are already a mentor for someone. If you have ever helped someone solve a problem, big or small, like sewing a rainbow on a sad 6-year-old's overalls, you've been a mentor. If you have ever been generous with your experiences, like our girls who created the bullying quilt, you've been a mentor. If you have ever introduced those two people who absolutely had to know one another, you've been a mentor. And if you have ever championed someone else's big idea, you've been a mentor. And so here's my call to action for all of us today. Whatever you are already doing as a mentor, do one more thing. Make one more phone call, send one more email, tell one more story, just do one more thing. Because here's the big secret about mentoring. The more you give, the more you get. Thank you to everyone here today, and congratulations to our Athena finalists.